Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In this video today, we are going to be taking a look at 𝗕𝗂𝗧 and specifically the price action of MTV. Guys, as we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will not miss another Cheeky Crypto update. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's jump into 𝗕𝗂𝗧 and see exactly what's going on here from a technical analysis perspective. Right, we are paired up here with USDT. We are using KuCoin as the data source, and this is the weekly chart where we like to start. So we can see some good progress that has been made for this micro cap coin. We've been trading down here for quite some time, but since 2021, we've seen significant growth. We actually taken this all the way up to 1.8 cent before we started to see Bitcoin's correction take effect. Here we can see that we actually went down as low as 0.002, which is quite low, right? So a good, nice correction here, allowing us to accumulate significant volumes of 𝗕𝗂𝗧 at discounted rates. Since here, we obviously had another attempt at kind of getting through this yellow box area here. We were rejected from this again, and this was in line with Bitcoin's correction as well. And again, we had corrections coming down towards the 0.0028 area. Okay, so there was a lot of accumulation happening just down here, anywhere in this kind of zone where these wicks were fantastic buying opportunities. I was taking advantage of those, Chris was taking advantage of those, and I like to think a lot of you guys were too. Now again, if you're buying down here, you're doing a fantastic job as to where we are right now, and the price expectation of where this is likely to go is quite nice to see as well. So we do have two Fibonacci retracement tools that we're going to get into on the daily chart. One that shows us a slightly better proposition than the one on the right hand side that we see now. Now ultimately, we have seen some interesting candles move up to the upside most recently, and we're going to get into those in a moment as well. We can see on this weekly chart that the stochastic is approaching the overbought area, so we will be looking to see a correction on this weekly chart in the very near future, probably a few weeks down the line. Now, how deep that correction has to be is something that is usually up for debate, but ultimately, if the sentiment is very positive when we need to see the correction, we could have a weekly red candle without much price damage actually completely take out this stochastic relative strength index into the oversold area. It doesn't take a lot to remove that momentum, and we have seen this happen time and time again, and even when we've started to see some really good days. Okay, so we can basically protect the price if the conditions are right. With that being said, though, we are probably, probably 2 to 4 weeks away from a major kind of correction on this stochastic being on this weekly chart. So again, just be mindful that we will be looking to have that happen, and there'll be an opportunity to accumulate more 𝗕𝗂𝗧 at those discounted rates again. Again, I don't think you're going to be anywhere down here. I think there's a good strong support that's being formed over here at the moment. So I don't think you're going to see significant discounts, but you will see discounts nonetheless. Let's jump into that daily view, right? Because this is where a lot of the interesting stuff starts to happen. Okay, so on the Fibonacci retracement tool, if I actually just zoom out, guys, so you can see there's two here, right? The one on the right-hand side here tops out at about 7.2 cent, and the one on the left here tops out at 9.2, okay? The one on the left here actually has an all-time high of 2.1 cent, and the low is actually significantly lower than what you see over here, and this one comes in at 0.00000361, so very, very low, right? You're barely down there. It was one wick and it was over. Okay, this is the problem with these micro cap coins, right? It doesn't take a lot of money to move the needle in any direction. That's down or up. So again, this project has a lot of kind of good price discovery on the horizon, but again, money flows out of these kind of projects quicker, and they are considered slightly higher risk to many in the space. That being said, though, I think we're going to be on to some interesting gains in the very near future. Now, obviously, on this side of things, we do have the Fibonacci retracement tool running from the highs of the 13th of April through to the lows that were down here on the 19th of May. During this correction, we get a Fibonacci 618, 702, and 786 on the ranges of 1.2 cent and 1.5 cent. This is where we were just rejected from 3 days ago. Okay, and this is an important thing to just note. We're being rejected from the 618. This comes in at 1.2. Okay, and what we're trying to do here is actually find a good support line. Now, we obviously wicked down into this yellow box area here, which was another 702 area from the Fibonacci of this high and this low. Okay, so that area there was basically another Fibonacci. This was your 618, 702, 786. And again, this is where we were rejected from over here. And then we battled through and we're back testing on now. Okay, so we had a good back test yesterday and we pushed up again today, pretty much wiping out any of the correction that happened in the last 2 days. Okay, so we're pretty much right back to where we were a couple of days ago, which is fantastic. And that's fantastic because it's corrected our stochastic out of the overbought area on this daily chart without doing any damage to the price. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that we look for. We want to kind of trade sideways and whilst we correct our stochastic, where we can go down to the oversold area without doing too much damage to the price. So that's exactly what we're looking for here on this daily chart. Now, what we want to do is kind of continue this sideways trade until we get a little bit lower on this daily chart. If things do allow, that will put us in a very strong position to go out to all-time high areas much later on. First target that we're really talking about after we get past this 786 comes in at 2.9 cent. Okay, so on this daily chart, it's quite clear to see we've got good corrections going on, we've got good recovery coming on, and we are up against some major resistance lines. So we want to make sure that everything lines up nicely for that. Okay, let's jump down into our hourly view. Now, this is where we see that we're overbought again. Okay, and what you can see here is being overbought up to this end, a correction here, going down into the oversold area, and then a good push to the upside, taking out the higher high and going back into the overbought area. So now what we're looking for is a loss of momentum coming out of MTV, taking us down to the oversold area whilst we protect the price the best we can. So we will be looking to see a short-term pullback here on multivac, on the hourlies, and then we'll be looking to grow back up again and have another attempt at the top end here. I do think, however, it's in our best interest to continue to trade sideways in between this bound before we actually try to go into the 618, the 702, and of course get the close candle above the 786. Okay, because we want to make sure that we have enough momentum to keep pushing up, right? And right now, technically speaking, I don't think the daily has a lot of room left in it. It can still do quite well, but will be another pullback to be expected. So I would rather spend our time kind of correcting things here within this bound and then have a nice strong push to the upside so we can keep the momentum going once we get going past the 786. So on this hourly chart, my thoughts are that we'll see a pullback. I think we're going to pull back to probably around the 1.03 cent area. Okay, this is a previous area of resistance, which was also an area of support previously, right? So this seems like a most logical area for a good support line to be established. With that being said, though, we can also see there are some areas of support and resistance on that journey as well. I'm going to quickly mark up this one just here because this is quite an obvious one. So we can see here was resistance, and we can see that we did just recently test this as a support line. This comes in at 1.07 cent. Okay, so pretty low level there, but again, that could be a good area to see some correction. So if we do lose the momentum out of our stochastic relative strength index, this could be forming a really good strong support for us that could then take us to these higher areas where we can then continuously trade until everything lines up perfectly to take out the next level. So let's actually just jump back up into our daily view. Okay, so now we obviously know that we are expecting a small pullback on our daily, on our hourly. Our daily should also look to find good support around here. Okay, so again, we are still looking at lower highs at this point in time. But again, if we do have a correction, it would be as long as it stays above this area here of 1.03 cent, it would be a higher low than what we've seen previously. So that would be establishing a triangular wedge. So again, I'll throw that up with a trend line. We can see there's a trend going that way, and we can see that there could potentially be a trend coming up in this direction. Okay, so it all depends on where things go in the next couple of days as to whether or not we really get wedged in here for a good break to the upside. Okay, and again, that kind of level of correction could help our daily stochastic relative strength index really get nicely corrected ahead of that explosion. Okay, so things on multivac are looking pretty good. Obviously, staking has gotten really well. They've now put a 3 billion target up there, so everyone should hopefully start seeing those airdropped 5% moves on the 2 billion rewards. And again, if you're staking, you'll get a nice passive return on your multivac as well. So some good moves are happening there. And I think there's lots of things happening in the space as well. The project is moving very, very well overall. So guys, hopefully you have found this brief update on multivac useful and informative. If you have, then do go ahead and hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications. And in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.